I kind of like that name. Volume.
Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. This video is going to be more talking about the Conquest meta and how I like it and how I don't like it, and like why I like Conquest sometimes more than I'd like the normal ladder. And that being said, it's just simplistically speaking, it's just more competitive in my opinion when it comes to the game mode itself. Now, I like the way ladder is. Don't get me wrong. The easy grind to infinite is always, quick, doesn't take too long in most cases, and once you get the hang of it, after you get your second season, second season, you kind of get the hang of it, and it becomes really not too bad to hit infinite. Now, grinding past infinite to get to those higher leaderboards, if those matter to you, those are a whole different ball game, because then you actually fight the actual real meta, where when you grind up to infinite, it's hit or miss depending on who you play and what your collector level is, and for the most part, it's not too bad. Now, when it comes to Conquest, it's a whole different ballgame. You're fighting things strategically, and you have to build your decks around your weaknesses. Now, you could take this and put it into your normal ladder grind if you want to. It would probably help you become a better player if you understand why your decks are not doing so well or what they're weak against. But in Conquest, you get punished more for not having tech picks to help you win things that you're weak against. And because of this, it's a more competitive mode, in my opinion. That being said, I kind of wish there were like a 2-card option side deck that you can switch out 2 cards if you had 2 extra cards in your deck, and just kind of switch them out on the spot after each round to help you climb the ladder against certain decks if you know you're weak to something, but it doesn't always fit in your deck for every single person. It would be cool to have like a 2-unit side deck or two slot side deck where you can kind of swap something out and then go for the other thing to help, fight those other decks that you might be running into. Like if you're weak to ongoing, it may be good to have an Enchantress or a Rogue in your deck. Though sometimes those are just dead draws and they don't work against every single deck. But they'd be great in the side deck if you're fighting someone who's going ongoing, if you kind of get my drift. So for those who haven't played Conquest, what is Conquest? Conquest is a mode where you have a ton of life, and when you snap it, you take the chance of losing more life if you lose, or taking the opponent's life. It's more than one round. It's not like your normal ladder where you go in, you fight, whoever wins, get 8 cubes, 4 cubes, 2 cubes, and like leaves. No, it's a war of attrition, essentially, for potentially 8 rounds if no one snaps. Well, it can last a long time if you're really greedy, or not. If you really preserve it with your snapping and you really are good at retreating and reading the board, it can take a second to get through a game of Conquest. But normally, I would say on a normal game to game, it's 3 to 4 rounds on a normal situation, depending on how good you are at snapping, what your deck is, what you're fighting. It just kind of depends. I think 3 to 4 is the average, and then it can go a lot higher the more competitive the game is, which they will get. The games get really competitive the higher you go, which is why I love it, because decks become a lot stronger strategically, and you start fighting players that are really good at understanding how Conquest works in their favor. It's not about how strong your deck is as itself. It has everything to do with being strong and also having answers to whatever it is hurts your deck the most. So here's a deck that I've been using. It's not the perfect version. I'm still missing things, but this has been one I've been having a lot of success with climbing and getting pretty high in infinite, or in the infinite ladder. I just added Jocasta. I literally got her on reset not even that long ago, so I have to retry her again, and I think this will help out the deck a ton. I have Rogue in here to counter strictly ongoing decks. Ongoing is a very strong, popular tool people using in Conquest. So is End of Turn, though. End of Turn's another dangerous one. But there's only so many things you can do to counter so much. You either dedicate to the End of Turn counter with a ghost, or you dedicate to ongoing and steal the Wongs that people like using, steal the Iron Man, steal steal things that people like spamming, which ongoing Moonstone is pretty popular. And the other deck's popular one would probably be like the Scarlet Spider deck. We'll talk about the actual like meta cards in a second, but kind of explaining why Rogue is in this deck. The counter out one of the counters to this deck, essentially, right? So let's talk about actual decks that are really good right now in Conquest that you should be aware about. Now, that being said, these are also good elsewhere. These are also good in normal ladder, but they're just really good in Conquest in general. So we have the generic Activate deck that's meta. It's typically the same thing that I was kind of running with a little bit different of a switch up. Spider Ham is to hit a key piece if you're lucky and make the opponent surrender. Like if you're going to like if you're going to like a Phantom X deck and Spider Ham slaps Phantom X, you pretty much have to like retreat that round as that Phantom X player, right? It's the same thing if you like hit the Invisible Woman. If you hit any core piece, it's kind of like a cable where you steal their core piece. It's really annoying to go into. This is what Spider Ham does. For cheaper. Broken card still. I don't like this card. They're running Surge for cheaper spams because they're running Shou-Lao, Scarlet Spider, Omega Sentinel, Prodigies, Jocasta, Maverick. It's just your typical make Scarlet Spider as big as possible and start printing him, essentially. Use Jocasta, print another copy. Use Prodigy, print another copy. Get him as big as possible of Shou-Lao on that last turn. That way you're like scattered across the field with multiple Scarlet Spiders. It's a really it's a really smart strategy, especially in the Merlin, because Merlin's really easy to use with Shou-Lao. So this deck is really good, really powerful deck in Conquest. Here's one that's really popular. I think it's a little bit easier to build for those newer players like myself. The only card I'm missing here is Prodigy and Moonstone, but like, and I think that's it. I'm not sure. But this deck's really simple to set up. It's a straightforward strategy. You want to play your Onslaught, Mystique the Onslaught, Iron Man the location with the Chernobyl down, and you get like 450 power everywhere. It's really dumb. It's really dumb. This variation, it has magic. Yeah, this is the correct variation. I've run into other variations where they're not using Prodigy or Luna Snow, but it kind of just depends. Like it's all about making your deck as cheap as possible. That way you can play all your big cards right away. I've seen normal Invisible Woman using this deck as well to protect their on reveals until that last turn. So essentially, you'd play your Invisible Woman, the one that hides your cards essentially face down. You would play your core pieces, and when they flip up, bam! That last turn, you just go huge everywhere. It makes it a little bit harder for the opponent to read you, and also makes it more likely where they snap because they don't know what they're fighting into, and you can potentially earn more cubes of this, which is interesting. I think they replace Mr. Fantastic with this, and they go with the Invisible Woman instead, which I think that version is a little bit more annoying in the fight because you don't know what you're going into until it's too late. And it's like, well, I just lost all my cubes because I was snapping aggressively in this because I had no field, and next thing, their whole field was huge. We have the Ramp Galactus deck. I've run into this one a lot more. I will say, I feel like Alioth is finally balanced. I don't really care about Alioth too much anymore. Like, if it hits something core, that sucks. It is what it is. But, like, he used to be so much stronger. Maybe it's just the decks I was using. We also have him using Chamber, the Goats, because you've got a lot of big stuff out here. You got Blink still. You have your Galactus. You have your Fing Fang Foom. Essentially, go big everywhere. And just pressure. If you can cheat out a Galactus and win a location early, good for you. Like it when I hurt you? So, yeah. Really fun, powerful deck. Takes a lot of energy. That's why they have like Jennifer Gale, Electro, Luna Snow, Wave. Just make your deck as cheap as possible. Chamber's there for that early placement. Just to go big, because you have so many ways to go big. Generic Destroy. Now, okay, let me get into this one a little bit. This deck, while it is good, it's simple, it's straightforward. A lot of players have access to this deck. I don't think this is a necessary winner when it comes to being able to straight up win it. Now, I'm not saying it can't win it. I'm saying when you play this deck, just know you're playing for you. You're not playing against your opponent. You're playing to win through your own game. So they have to counter you, which could be good or bad depending on what deck you're playing against, because Generic Destroy doesn't care what the opponent's playing. It's all about destroying your own stuff, building up, destroying your own stuff, building up, getting null out, getting death out, getting as big as possible. Essentially. There's multiple different variations of this one. This one doesn't even have head pool. It's got some other stuff in it. It's making dead pool bigger, then you multiply your deck pool, Arma Zola, and then you null or death or whatever. Which is why it's weird not seeing head pool in here. But like, yeah, you get to go really big essentially, and hope that they don't Shadow King you or cancel you with armor or something like that. So this one, while it is a good deck, I will say it's probably the hardest one to run on the higher ladder because you're going to get countered a lot more often. Like, getting through silver and gold is usually a cakewalk for this deck. Infinity? Good luck. You might be able to do it. We have Quicksilver Wiccan deck that I've seen a lot of, actually, and I'm proud of, like, I'm actually proud of this deck. I'm proud that Ozymandias has found a home. I'm glad that this thing is working. This one doesn't use Black Swan, which is a little weird. I think I'd prefer a Black Swan version of this deck. But that's just my personal opinion. Cosmic Ghost Rider is a really strong tech. Selene, while on the weaker side, she's really good in this deck. Ozymandias, of course. You have your Mole Man for more rocks. Just be careful with this deck. I feel like while this deck looks good on paper, you're going to get blown up by, like, Killmonger, which is why I would switch out a few things. I would get a Black Swan. I'd get the one girl that protects your board, or your 1 cost and your 6 cost. That way they don't get blown up. I probably wouldn't run Wiccan in this deck. I'd probably remove Wiccan, to be honest. For one of those. I don't really like the Ancient one in this deck either. I would slightly alter mine a little bit differently, but this deck is good. I think this is a very strong deck when you play it properly and you understand why it's good. Man, if your Mole Man hits something core like an Ozymandias, you're gonna cry. But yeah, it's a good deck. But I guess I can kind of show mine, but mine isn't done. So here's mine at the moment. It's not done. I'm missing core things like Black Swan. Also, this guy is probably not going to stay in here. He's just there for the moment for a slot fill. You can kind of like alter how it works. Mine's all right, but like I prefer using this deck because I don't have Black Swan. I'm missing core pieces when it comes to Ozymandias. Like, I don't have Selene. I don't have Cosmic Ghost Rider, which I think Cosmic Ghost Rider is a really big reason why this deck is so successful. Being able to knock out core pieces of your opponent to disable them completely. Key pieces. But I also feel like this is a key piece for that deck to protect your stuff from like a Killmonger, because Killmonger will legitly end your run. So just something to think about when it comes to, you know, the Ozymandias rock deck. So yeah, Conquest. It's a mode. It makes you learn the game at a different pace that you normally would learn it on the ladder. It makes you think about counters to yourself and countering other players. It makes you overall a better player, even though the mode is hit or miss depending on who you are. But overall, if you play a lot of Conquest, I do think you'll improve your skill at Marvel Snap, just because you're going to have to learn how to alter your plan to climb in this mode. And it's going to be frustrating because you're going to feel like you're never winning, which, you know, I still haven't won. I've gotten close twice, but like, I'm never mad when I lose. I always lose. I'm like, that could have went either way. That could have went either way. That could have went either way. You know, it's just, it becomes to that point. Eventually, you'll get to that point where like my deck is almost ready, and if I keep pushing, I'll hit it. And eventually, I plan on hitting it. It's just I need a couple more pieces, and strategies will form itself, and eventually the deck will mellow out and actually win, which would be really sick. So yeah, thanks for watching my little TED Talk on Conquest, and let me know what you guys think of it. What's your favorite deck to run in Conquest, and which one do you think is the strongest? I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.